Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Says the Vet. I'm going to be running through some easy tips today for what you can do for that really sick, fluffed up chicken at home while you're waiting to get her to the vet. Some emergency stabilisation you can do to help her. Hi guys, thanks for checking in for another episode of Says the Vet. I am Dr. Says. Today I wanted to give you some advice on something I get asked all the time. What can I do for my sick chicken at home, either while waiting to get to a vet, it's after hours on a weekend, or living in an area that doesn't have an avian vet in the vicinity? Now I do need to kick this off by being really clear that this is not about treating the disease. What I'm about to talk about is emergency first aid. Birds will usually not show signs of the disease until illness is already very progressed. So often by the time you've noticed that something's wrong, she's already critical and needs emergency care. By the time they're in end-stage disease, they have dangerously low blood sugar, low blood protein, they're dehydrated, and they're suffering from hypothermia, so deathly cold. And in fact, this is why we actually see the critically ill bird fluffed up, that what we call a sick bird look, because they are trying to conserve the energy and maintain their body heat. If you can, pop the bird in a closed, dark box, empty the food and water, leave the kids and the dogs at home, turn off the radio in the car and get her to the vet quickly and quietly. However, if that's not immediately possible, here's what I recommend while you're tiding time before you can get her to a vet. So first, number one, warm and humid. Chickens are small animals. They lose their body heat very easily, and this applies to all birds. Obviously, the smaller, the colder they get quicker. So in losing that body heat, they lose moisture to the dry air as well. So we want them in a warm environment, ideally and very specifically 28 to 32 degrees Celsius. So that's about 85 to 95 Fahrenheit. If you've got an incubator, awesome. I don't know anyone that does at home. Otherwise, home jobs can be the hot water cupboard or even a polystyrene box with a nice hot water bottle in there, obviously protecting her from it. The tricky part is just making sure that the temperature is not fluctuating all over the place if you're using kind of a home job in a polystyrene box. So grab yourself a rectal thermometer from a pharmacy or drugstore and monitor her temperature. We want her to be staying between 40.5 to 41.6, that's 105 to 107 degrees Fahrenheit. And chicks, please don't try to take the temperature, they're just too tiny. Grab yourself an environmental temperature and just keep a close eye on her. Right, number two, correct her dehydration. By the time she's in this critical sick bird look phase, she will be dehydrated. It's going to be tricky for you at home to try and estimate how dehydrated she is. But as a rule of thumb, a 2 kg chook should be needing about 6 ml an hour just to maintain her level of hydration. Now her crop can easily hold 30 to 50 ml very easily, so you can give this in large amounts, of course. Now if she is flat and lying down, oral fluids, I can tell you, into the mouth are not going to cut it. She does need to get to a vet immediately and have shock fluids given straight into the vein or into the bone even, is something we do in birds. But if she's standing and she's still pooing, her gastrointestinal tract is still working, then you can offer her, if she'll drink on her own, or you can syringe fluids into the beak. It's just a slow process. So this just gives you a basic rehydrating fluid, okay? Now try and use your bottled or filtered water so we don't end up with heavy metals and other goodies in the tap water throwing things off. Warm it up to the temperature of a baby's bottle if she's hypothermic. That's a nice quick and easy way to get your chook to warm up a bit, kind of like a cup of hot cocoa. Right, number three, feed high protein, energy rich food. No one can survive on sugar water, right? So if she perks up in response to rehydration, awesome. You're then going to need to start offering her a proper diet again. Now I recommend using a critical care mix if you can find that at your local vet clinic or pet shop, or a hand rearing mix. You will add water to make it into a mash, and if she'll eat it herself, that's great. Or you can add more water and make it into a slurry and syringe her just to get something into her. If she's eating on her own, I'll often suggest to have on offer cat food as well, jelly meat. It's really good and high in protein for critical care patients, as well as, of course, whatever she's used to eating. If she's a creature of habit and all she wants is her pellets because that's what she's used to, then that's what she gets. As long as we get something into her, that's better than nothing. Now I do want to mention here, if you are confident tube feeding, so crop tubing down into the crop there, and that's a skill you possess, awesome, go for it. I'm not going to go into teaching how to do that over YouTube here today. Right, number four, weigh daily. Okay, so a great way to monitor her progress is to weigh her daily. So these tiny wee kitchen scales work really well. What I try and do is you weigh a towel, you then burrito her up into a towel, and that makes them lie really, really snug and still and calm. Weigh it again, and then just subtract the weight of the towel, and you've got her weight there. So do that daily and you can monitor how she's going. Number 5, treatment. Goes without saying, right? So to reiterate, the underlying issue that caused her illness in the first place needs to be addressed immediately. So don't muck around, treatment should be initiated as soon as possible. Now I just want to note as well here that we can push a really sick bird over the edge just with handling, especially with your little tiny ones. So if she's open mouth breathing, she may need oxygen supplementation from the vet. Don't go trying to shove fluids down the throat of a bird that's open mouth breathing. She may end up with it in the lungs instead. If she's weak and begins gasping and trembling, put her in a warm, humid cage and let her calm down. There are many birds that will need aggressive treatment, the majority of them to be fair, so this in no way replaces a vet visit or personal advice given by a vet that has seen your bird, okay? So just a nice little critical care plan to help stabilise her while she's at home waiting to get to the vet. Please subscribe down below. I do deal with a lot of backyard chooks as pets, so I will be uploading things on that periodically. Please thumbs up, comment, feel free to ask any questions. If I've got the time, I'll jump on and try and answer some of those. Okay, I will see you guys for the next episode. Bye bye.